Hi guys, my name is Beth and welcome back to Beth Does Beauty. Today I am going to be showing you my everyday makeup routine to cover facial redness. I have rosacea, as you can see on my nose, and I also have lupus, which causes a butterfly rash across my skin here, and I also get hormonal acne, as you can see around here. This is one of my most requested videos. I think my last video about how I cover my facial redness was posted about 7 years ago. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, we want to start off with hydrating our skin. I have already cleansed my skin and I've already used this. I use the CeraVe moisturizing cream. This is for dry to normal skin, very good on sensitive skin. It comes in a little pump bottle. I particularly like this because there is just nothing to it. It is just no perfume. Very bog standard. My skin just drank that up. Oh my gosh. Next up, I will be using the Rosacea 3-in-1 Anti-Redness Primer. I know that a lot of people use this as a foundation. However, I'm just going to put the tiniest dot on my finger and I'm just going to tap that across like target areas. I use Rosacea as more of a primer, I guess. Just to try and neutralize that redness under the skin. I do have a lot of redness, so Rosacea always has its work cut out with my face. Just tapping that on really lightly with my finger, it does make my finger go a little bit green, but that's okay. I have used Rosacea for years. They are a fantastic company. You can use my code, which I have pinned in the comments, to get some money off your Rosacea purchase and support me as a content creator. No pressure though, but I love Rosacea. They have supported me as a content creator for years and I appreciate them. So you see how that has like toned down my redness like tenfold. I actually might put a little bit on my chin today, just because of those big red spots. They're so angry today. I am looking away from the camera just because I'm using my PC screen as a mirror. My camera is streaming through to my PC. Next up, I am going to do my eyebrows. Now, typically, I don't feel like I can do an eyebrow tutorial for you because it feels really disingenuous, because I actually feel like I have really good eyebrows. I've been asked in the past how I do my eyebrows, but it is quite literally, I just follow the natural line of my eyebrows. Typically, for my eyebrows, I use this NYX micro brow pencil. It's like a crayon at one end and then like a spoolie at the other. But today I am going to be using number 17. This is from Boots, Precise Definition Tinted Gel in Taupe. This is basically just a brow gel. Very, very simple. Just tiny little brush, and all we're going to do is brush this, just to give some definition and a tiny bit of color. This is just guiding all the hairs the same way. Now, a common misconception about using concealer is that when using concealer, you should use something to conceal dark circles that is lighter than your foundation. I have been guilty of that, and I'm still guilty of that, but all it does is highlight the bags and darkness under your eyes. So I am using this Lasting Perfection concealer, 16-hour wear from Collection. This is the shade Ivory 3. This is so silky when it goes on the skin, but this matches my foundation shade. So all I'm going to do is put a tiny dot here and then like a little swipe there, because all I'm trying to do is like lift my eyes. So tiny bit here and a swipe here. And then what I'm going to do is just do a little few dots where I get the most redness. So on my chin here too. What I'm going to do with this concealer here is I'm going to take a fluffy brush. This is typically a blending brush for eyes. This is the Spectrum C05. And for the, I'll show you on my chin area first. I'm just going to diffuse this. Normally, I would use a makeup sponge, but I have been finding that using this fluffy brush just diffuses it so much more naturally. And then I'm gonna go in up here at this swipe with this fluffy brush again, and I'm just quite literally blending in circular motions and dabbing motions upwards. And if it helps, you can look up to get like under your eye. You see how that looks so diffused? It's really helpful. And then I'm bringing this in. So I'm not necessarily diffusing just upwards. I am bringing this down and in towards my facial redness, because what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to make sure we get as much coverage over this redness here that the Rosacea 3-in-1 primer couldn't get to. I mean, the Rosacea did a really good job, but I want to make sure that we're extra concealed. And then this bit here, we're going to look up slightly and just dab under the eye and down. I'm not a makeup artist, but this is what I have learned over the 10 years of having lupus and facial redness and playing with makeup. And then to match my eyelid to the same base as my skin, I just use the excess over here just to dab over. We're going to do the same again on this side, okay? So looking at that and the difference of how much coverage we got on that redness, it's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And also skin still has texture, so you are going to see bumps and lumps on my face. It's not a miracle cream. It doesn't solve texture. It just gives the appearance of smoother skin. With that same brush, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dab across the nose, just like that. And then I'm just going to work it out slowly, being gentle with the skin, because if you're not gentle with the skin, all you're going to do is make it more red. And just bouncing the brush. So like when I say bouncing the brush, I just quite literally mean bouncing the brush, because the bristles are just doing their job. It's just diffusing things. Getting into this like T-zone up here, just to try and blend everything together. You know what? Some days I am just like, you know what? This is enough for me to just whack on some mascara and I'll be fine. But because I'm going out for dinner, I want to go a little bit heavier and more coverage, and I'm going to put on some foundation over the top. See? Super, super simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. I know that there are like 1,001 tutorials that will overcomplicate makeup for you, but if I've learned anything, that was who I was as a creator 7 years ago. I wanted the fanciest, most expensive makeup, but some of this is drugstore, and it's so accessible and so easy. Next up, I'm going to be using this Revolution Matte Fix Oil Control Fixing Spray. It is the travel size version. All I'm doing is using this in a spray motion very gently, just to try and keep my base on my skin, setting layer by layer essentially. Give it a little shake, and then there we go. And I'm just going to wait for that to dry. Next, I am going to be using foundation. So I am using this One Size Turn Up the Base BBB Cream Beauty Blur Balm. It is Fair 1 Neutral. Just going to click this open and put the tiniest bit on my hand. Just a little pea-sized drop. Just put that on the back of my hand. I'm putting it on the back of my hand so it kind of warms up the product, so it will smooth out better. And I'm also using a slightly damp beauty blender. This is, I think, a beauty blender from Boots. It was maybe like £1.99p. I'm using the flat side, as you can see here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some of the foundation, just dab it on the flat edge. And I'm going to target this bit first, because you have the most product on your sponge at this point. So rather than blending from like out in, like I think I did in my first tutorial, I am going to target these spots first. I'm just going to dab in like a sweeping motion across my face. So I am blending in to out, making sure that we get the forehead. And I don't want to be too rough on my skin, because if I'm too rough on my skin, all that's going to do is bring out the redness a little bit more. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side, pick up the foundation and just target those problem areas for myself. And then we're just gonna blend. So that has covered the most of my facial redness. I've just taken another dot and I'm just gonna pop that on my nose and on my chin and do the same thing. You can still see my spots through this. You are going to be able to see those. We'll target those with a little bit of concealer in a little while. My nose is a huge red area, so I've just put the same amount of product that I probably would have put on my cheeks, and I'm just blending that out. And then I still have product left on my hand, so what I'm going to do is just a dot here and a dot here, and I'm just going to go around in a circle. And that is the base of my makeup done. I don't feel like I look cakey. It doesn't feel heavy. I'm just going to use the excess on my sponge to get my forehead and more towards my jawline, just to blend in towards the ears. I am going to go in with some concealer again, just slightly, and target some of these spots, like here. Here. And then all I'm gonna do is, using the flat part of this beauty blender, is I'm just gonna dab. And then I am gonna go again with a spritz of this, and we're just gonna let that dry. Now, this part might seem counterintuitive. I always avoided blush because I was worried about how red my skin was underneath my foundation, that I felt that bringing the redness out with blush was counterintuitive. But I've actually learnt the opposite lesson. Today, I am going to be using this tiny sample of Rare Beauty's liquid blush. This is incredibly red, but I think red looks good on anyone. This is the shade Grateful, and I'm just gonna do 2 dots. 1, 2. Tiny dots, because you can see how red that came out. And then I'm going to use the curved edge of my beauty blender, and I'm going to bounce this upwards. Just bouncing that upwards. And I'm just bringing it lower and lower every time. It's allowing a bit of pigment, a bit of color in the face. Now, liquid blush isn't necessarily the easiest to work with. I think I put a lot on there actually. But it drags my skin much less. So I quite like working with it. Next, I'm using this highlighter in the shade Exhilarator, again by Rare Beauty. I have hit the pan so much on this. I'm going to be using this fluffy brush. It's actually a blending brush, but I think it allows control really nicely of where the highlight is going to go. And I'm just going to add some here under the brow bone. Ooh, she's shiny. I typically add just a tiny bit here, and then just on the tip of my nose, which is already apparently shiny, Cupid's bow, and then just a spritz here, just where the light hits, pretending that I have cheekbones. I got a round fat face, so we're doing a lot of pretending I have cheekbones, okay? They're just under a protective layer. Like to keep them safe. And then after that, I'm going to be using this One Size Fantasize mascara. This is my favorite mascara. This is by One Size Beauty. I need to buy a new one because the formula is unfortunately going clumpy. I've had this for about a year. I probably should have got rid of it already. It comes with a nice rubber brush, and I just love it because it allows me to get from root to tip of my lashes. Listen, Patrick Star, if you're ever looking for a girly in the UK that you can like pour samples on of makeup, like, I'm your girl. I'm your girl. And you can still see in this light that my skin is textured. Like, we're not pretending that like foundation covers our skin like we're a robot without pores. Like, my skin still very much has texture to it. It's not the be all and end all. It's just covering that redness, neutralizing that redness to give us a little bit of a boost of confidence. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And if anyone tells you there's anything wrong with that, send them to me. Look at how much those lashes have lifted. Love it. And I just do a cheek a little bit on the bottom lashes here. Here's another top tip for you. If you ever do what I have just done here, which is get mascara on my nose, all you want to do is literally wait for it to dry. Wait for it to dry and you'll be able to like just brush it right off, or go over with a beauty blender and it will come right off, or a Q-tip or something like that, a cotton swab. It will literally come right off. When you're trying to get rid of it while it is damp, all you are going to do is smear it further and further, which means you have to take makeup off to then reapply, and we don't want to do that. So just leave it to dry, let it do its thing, and you'll be golden. Now for the final step, now that we've got our makeup base, our little bit of color in our cheeks to make it look deliberate that we've got a little bit of red undertone, and we've got our mascara on, I am going to use this Clarins lip oil, a little bit of pink, it's a beautiful shade. I'm just gonna swipe that on. It just adds a little bit of color, nothing too serious. And there we have it. That is how I cover my facial redness in an everyday makeup look. We've got the nice bit of shine, we've got the nice bit of deliberate color. Your skin is still gonna have texture. Babe, don't worry about it. It's just what it is. Like, we have textured skin. If people don't like that, they can go look at AI, photoshopped images, and like robots. We have pores, we have imperfections on our skin. That is just who we are. It's just what happens, and it's just life, and it's okay. So I have just got back from dinner. It was nice. We had tacos. It's now 9:45. I left here at about 6:30, and I just wanted to do a little makeup check-in. I haven't touched anything. My eye is a little bit red, hay fever. When I went outside, my eyes wouldn't stop leaking. I was like, but I haven't managed to wipe any of the makeup off, which is just testament to how much I love this makeup. I wanted to quickly show you a reason why we blended out the products with a brush, and how I got a little bit of extra coverage with that. I remember when we did the eyes, we blended out with this brush. Just to get some, I feel like it does a little bit more than the sponge. I'm also going to show you why we targeted the red areas first with a sponge, rather than working from, I think I worked in my last video from the outside in, where you're pushing the product this way. But I want to drive home the fact that like this, I'll just watch, okay? So I'm going to be using this, this is a, like a pigment paint to make your foundation lighter. It's basically a foundation. I don't know if you can see that. It is a white foundation. So what I'm going to show you is that when you are applying your makeup, you want to target your problem areas first. So I'm going to pick a little bit up with this brush. We're just going to use my arm here. So you see how like smoothly that moves around, like I'm not dragging the skin. It's just soft. And I mean, this is a Spectrum brush, so it's a good quality brush. It just blends out really nicely. And then what I'm going to show you is on this arm here, we're just going to dab in like we did, product. And I saw this on some YouTube short video, and I cannot find the creator for this, so forgive me if I don't name her. First dab, second dab, third dab. You see how the most product is at the top because obviously the first dab is going to be the one with the most product. So work on your problem area first and then blend. I wish I had a different like pigment to show you, but this is the best I can do, sorry. But yes, target problem area first, then blend. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to see more of my content, you can click the subscribe button down below. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed my video. Leave a comment down below. You can also find me on my social media pages here, down below as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.